Why does an American company have to acknowledge a Japanese lawsuit? Well, they don't really, but when it comes to business, everything gets kind of tangled up in each other, and I'll explain. So there aren't like laws for Earth, right? Every country has their own laws. The closest thing we have to international law is stuff like, the Geneva Conventions, like not stuff that deals with like intellectual copyright. So that means when it comes to intellectual property, you have to protect it in every country you operate in. So in this Nintendo Pal World situation, there are Japanese patents, and there are American patents, and there are patents for European countries, and so on and so forth. And each of these patent offices have different rules for what you can and cannot patent. Now, large companies like Nintendo or even Pocket Pair basically have to have operating branches, and you could think of these kind of as their own company. There is a Nintendo of America, and there is a Nintendo of Japan. They all serve the greater Nintendo, but they are their own entities. Now, Nintendo of Japan is suing Pocket Pair of Japan for violating a Japanese patent. Now, hypothetically, if Nintendo wins, does this mean that Pocket Pair can continue to sell to the US and just cease operations in Japan? Yes, in the most technical of senses, being that the kind of headquarters of Pocket Pair is in Japan, and that removing an entire market from a product can many times cripple it. Most of the time, when stuff like this happens, you'll just see the product go under. But not all of the time. There have been certain products that, for example, can't be sold in China or Australia, and they are still sold in America and Japan. So does this mean that if you own a company in some far-off corner of the world where there is no patent and no protection for another company's properties, you could just steal from them? Yes, again in the most technical sense of the word. This is how you get bootlegs. There's no one policing those bootlegs. It's how you get like Six Granddad or like platformers with Pikachu in them and stuff like that. But again, you'd only be able to sell that in the territory where the IP isn't protected, and that's why they're usually only sold locally. And then we download the ROMs here in America because internet. You couldn't easily sell it to a territory where that IP is protected. And so usually they're not. And that's why it's such a pile of fuck to get things imported from other countries. The workaround for that pile of fuck is, as I said before, just have a company that operates local. We don't have to import Nintendo games from Japan because Nintendo of America makes them here and sells them here, and so you just buy them here.